Greetings, greetings. Today is a low energy day, if you can't tell by looking at the screen. If you're only listening to this painting stream, believe it or not, there are audible audio recordings of this stream. God only knows why people enjoy listening to the sound of my sultry Irish voice, talking absolute bollocks for about 2 hours. I did not sleep well last night, nor did I go to bed at a reasonable hour. Hence, hey, it's Kenny McCord. Like, if I do the whole stream like this, man, I'll probably pass out in like 10 minutes from the lack of oxygen. Mark Stonebarrow, welcome. God only knows the fuck. Like, it's like, the fact that there's audio recordings of this stream, like, that's funny because like Sleep Deprived, it has like for months was uploading the PEINTEINGU streams to Telegram and shit, like, and like every so often he'd miss a few, and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry" or whatever, and I'd be like, "It's grand, don't worry about it," like, and he fucking he hasn't uploaded one in ages, and I haven't heard anything from him. Like, and I'm not the sort to be like, "Hey, what's up?" Like, do you know what I mean? I didn't even ask him to do it in the first place. Like, that's another thing I think is hilarious. Is like the amount of things that people have said about painting. This should be on unauthorized. Fucking, oh, we need to record all these. Like, fucking this, that, and the rest. Like, and I'm just like, yeah, cool. You do that. Like, I do this for 2 hours a day, and then I fuck off and do the rest of my life. Like, oh god, I need more coffee. Okay. Well, progress has been made. My kimono has actually been washed now, and now it's drying. And it survived the wash. I didn't think it would actually survive the wash because the threads on it are so fucking. It has become so threadbare that it's starting to fall apart. Like when I fucking put the thing on and I'm tying it up and all, like it's in bits. Like, but it's probably just as well that I'm not donned in just a kimono and headband today because it's fucking cold, and I'm even more cold because I didn't get a good night's sleep, and it was very broken sleep. So I'm fucking insanely tired and like fueling myself on caffeine alone and sausage rolls. I had some sausage rolls impromptu breakfast at like 1 o'clock in the day. Fucking woke up late, went to bed late, had a broken sleep, woke up late, and just feel shite today. Plus, I'm sore from the workout I did yesterday, so it's all just like making me feel absolutely shit, which is why I'm going to start off with some heavy metal this fine morning. A kimono fit for a hobo samurai. Shameful. Like it originally started as me being a homeless samurai, which actually still kind of works as far as the lore of painting goo goes. Because technically, if I'm a former god now, demigod, and I have been relegated to the Earth realm, then it still makes sense to call me, in a sense, homeless. Homeless! Um, fucking hands are freezing, seriously. I'm going to stick on some tunes and grip my coffee firmly to alleviate the coldness. Say, saying some words in Japu is genuinely so fucking difficult that it makes it even funnier. Like, and then they change as well, like coldness, cordness, cordness. Like something has the property of a cord. Like, like what the fuck? I was thinking before, like while I was making this coffee before the stream, I was thinking to myself, why in the name of God in none of like the Star Wars lore? Well, maybe I'm wrong because I'm not that big of a super fan, but like as far as I can tell from all the Star Wars movies and the cartoon shows, I mean, the lightsaber, as far as like practical like weapon goes, the lightsaber is like incredibly impractical. I mean, like if that thing, like how much heat does it give off? And like how would you be able to hold like a weapon that essentially has no hilt and there's just like a fucking beam, like forget a limited beam of plasma, but like a beam of plasma energy just like essentially like throbbing and pulsating. Saying that in genuinely a non-sexual way, even though we're talking about lightsabers. If you've seen Spaceballs, we all know. Like, like, like all I can think of now is them with their rings and Spaceballs down by their crotch. It's like, I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. I fucking love that movie. One of my favorite bits in that movie is where the fucking thing that's supposed to be Chewbacca, you like just rips a lot of pipes off the wall, and they're it's like a row of U-bend pipes, and like all the fucking Starship Troopers like start Starship Troopers, all the Stormtroopers start shooting at him, and all the laser blasts go down the pipe and like around the U-bend and get fired back at them. I like that. Like, I think that's the kind of energy that I love having on painting go. I mean, did you see how hilarious those flamingos, those ghetto ass gangster flamingos were in that purple car? That purple soft top that I painted there the other day or last week at some point. When I came in to take it off the canvas and put this thing on, man, I could not stop fucking laughing. Like, or when I took pictures of it there the other day to put it up, four flamingos in a soft top purple car. One of them's wielding a fucking pistol like gangster style, nigga style. One of them has a Tech 9. One of them has a bazooka. And one of them has a pitchfork. It doesn't get better than that, I'm afraid. Oh god. But yeah, I was thinking before the stream that like as a efficient practical weapon, the lightsaber like gets it's like a 0 out of 10, you know? Because like you literally have a tool that is just as likely to kill you as it is to kill your opponent. Like, do you know what I mean? And like, ignorant fools would probably be like, oh, you could say the same with an axe or a blade. Like, not at all. I always like, even from a young age, I was like, why don't like people in a lightsaber duel like do these things or whatever? And it's like, say you have your lightsaber in front of you. You have assumed a combative stance with your sword weapon, but that's basically a laser. It's not like whatever. And like you have it in front of you, and sure, it's like pointed towards the enemy and shit. But like there's moves, like if you've ever played like baseball or like fucking golf or anything with like a club or a bat, or if you've ever done any sword training, I've done like a very limited amount. Um, but like if you don't have a firm grip on your sword and if you're not prepared for an attack, um, just like it would be like similar to like fighting unarmed and just hand to hand. If you're not like braced for an attack, if you don't see an attack coming, then there's all sorts of mad shit that could happen. Um, especially with like you got four limbs and they can go all over the place and shit. Like so, if you've got your hand here and your opponent like rushes forward and you adjust because you're about to react and then they do something like you could end up like fucking your fist or your elbow or your fucking knee even can like end up in your own face depending on how you react. Like you see people do it all the time who don't know how to fight. They just put their limbs like in the way of their opponent and like mad shit happens, like and it's very easy to break a finger or something, like because of just like displacement and shit, or get accidentally gouge out their eye or your own eye, or like all sorts of crap. Like so, if you have like a fucking 3.5 foot long bar of superheated plasma energy just like waving in front of you, right? And not to mention the fact that like how do lightsabers like contact with each other? That doesn't make any sense. Like how does two beams of like flowing plasma energy stay like there's how can they have those like fucking what are they what's the I don't know what the term is like with the blades lock. I don't know what the term is in like actual fucking sword fighting or whatever like but even the fact that they hit off each other like like you shouldn't be able to block anything with a lightsaber. Do you know what I mean? Like if somebody threw a baseball at you and you swung at the baseball, bits of it would still go around you or at you, or some ash would hit your face or some shit, like, you know? So basically, while I was making the coffee before the stream, I was just thinking about it, and like say you have your lightsaber in front of you, like, and you know, it's like some average Jedi is trying to take on a Sith Lord or some shit. Why didn't you ever see a scene where like he just like smacks the Jedi's lightsaber into the Jedi's face? like, like that would have been the like that would have like if you wanted to make a Sith Lord seem like really intimidatingly evil, like malevolent, that would be a really good way to just like drown, like it would like return the audience to a sense of reality while watching it, like a Star Wars movie like that, where they're like, oh yeah, this is all so cool, and the Force and lightsabers and all this shit, and lightsabers can like bounce lasers and stuff, and somehow they can connect off each other, and blah blah. Your suspension of disbelief is still intact. But then, like a Jedi tries to take on like a powerful Sith Lord, and the Sith is just standing there with his lightsaber drawn, but it's like faced at the ground. You know, like basically like the lightsaber equivalent of like just fighting with your hands down. You just has it like drawn, but it's not erect. It's flaccid. It's just hanging there, and the Jedi is like ready to go, like. Well, if the Sith was quick enough, or like fainted or some shit, and like the Jedi went like this, and then he just smacked, just with an upward swing, smacked the Jedi's sword into his like into his own head. Because you could like if they are able to connect and bounce off each other and lock and shit, and like if Sith Lords and fucking Jedi can like swing at like blindingly quick speeds. Like, do you know what I mean? Because like there's all sorts of like canon parts of Star Wars where like a Jedi jumps 20 feet in the air using the Force, or like one of the Jedi's abilities is like to like many of them have a move in the lore of Star Wars or whatever, where they use the Force to like project themselves forward at like an incredible speed, like the speed of sound or something, and strike with a lightsaber in the flash in a second, like in less than a second, like in a fraction of a second, like before you could blink, and all this stuff, like. So, like, it seems to me, why wouldn't that be possible that a Sith Lord could just go, "Meh," and just like, you just see a Jedi just get impaled by his own fucking lightsaber in the face, like, would be the most like in a sense anticlimactic, but it would be so overwhelmingly real and graphic and morbid that like the audience would just be sitting there. Like if you did it to some guy, like fucking like what if that happened to Obi-Wan? Do you know what I mean? Like imagine how powerful that would have been, like in the storyline, if like, or even Qui-Gon. Like Qui-Gon takes Darth Maul on in the desert briefly while they're trying to get back to the dropship or some shit. What was it on Coruscant or No, it wasn't Coruscant. It was on Tatooine in the desert, and like Darth Maul only takes out like one end of the double bladed lightsaber and like takes on Qui Gon in the desert for like 2 minutes. How amazing would it have been if like they just like fucking engage for a couple of seconds, and then there's just this pause where Qui Gon's standing there ready for the next move, and Darth Maul's just standing there with the thing down and just flicks it up, and Qui Gon gets his lightsaber just put in his own head. Like, the audience would have just been sitting there. You might like kids, fucking families and all, just like, like it would have been amazing. Like that's the sort of shit that I would have. Like it's very Game of Thrones esque. It's like, oh yeah, this guy thinks he's awesome. Dead, Like, you just like you just fucking like bitch slap to the face the audience with a sense of like reality, like. It's basically a plasma club that has no protection for the wielder. I know, it's fucking ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. Like even when I was younger, like I was still in school and shit, like, learning about fucking like plant biology. And like I'd watch a Star Wars movie and be like, you'd see their hands are like, they're gripped around the fucking handle of the lightsaber, and the lightsaber handle's like big and thick and about that long, and it's also gay. It's also fucking like the I'm saying shit like, and I'm just like, dear God, what the fuck? Like, it's not so big and thick, but it is. It's weird. It doesn't look. It's like lightsabers were clearly made by gay nerds who know nothing about swords. And that's why all the sword play in the first couple of movies was like pretty shit. And then in the in the second three movies, they were like, right, let's make lightsaber duels like fucking awesome looking, like, and they did. They made them awesome looking, but it doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like in A New Hope, when Obi-Wan cuts off that guy's arm in the bar, and there's blood everywhere. But then for the rest of Star Wars, the lore is that like if you were to get your arm cut off, it's like immediately cauterized, because that makes sense, because it's like a fucking like a baseball bat of flaming light, like. But the first person to get like hit with a lightsaber in Star Wars bleeds. This like alien dude's arm gets like cut off by Obi-Wan in a bar, and there's blood everywhere. Like, and it's like, how do you guys fucking like calculate that shit out? Like, how do you guys justify that like lore decision? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like so obvious that they were just making shit up on the fly. Like, you just make it up as you go along. Like, it's like, that's all well and good. It's cool. Like, do you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, you watch it and you're kind of like, oh yeah, and then you watch it again, or like you think about stuff after you've seen it. And you're like talking about it with friends. And that's where these conversations start, where you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. And like, granted, I mean, there's stuff like the Force and space battles and like all this shit like that also, on a lot of ways, doesn't make any sense, but it's all like, it's fantasy, it's fiction. But I always thought like the best fiction is still grounded in reality in a sense. Like, even when you have magic and stuff, like maybe Obi-Wan's lightsaber was just getting old and blunt. I don't fucking know. Yeah, like, that'd be so funny if like Obi-Wan's lightsaber was just on the way out, like, 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 like how funny that would have been. Amazing if they put it in that like the reason Obi-Wan's lightsaber didn't cauterize the wound on that guy in the bar is because Obi-Wan was still using his lightsaber from like 30 years ago, and the fucking temperature, it wasn't even like hot anymore. So Obi-Wan's just going around cutting dudes like limbs and heads and shit off, and like bouncing bullets with literally the coldest lightsaber in the galaxy at that time. Oh god, it'd be so funny. Right. I am gonna stick on some high energy Christian metal, and we're going to paint some shit. And I'm going to sip on my coffee. So sit back and enjoy painting. This band is called The Sorrow, and I quite enjoy them. I am going to play the entire album, start to finish. It's great. If you're not into metal, today's not your day. If you're not into me looking like a Sith Lord and playing heavy metal, today's PEINTEINGU is not for you. Now, let us improve upon the shading on the gorilla. But first, I shall get my bitches wet. Right. My days are numbered. His foot is a shade off the rest of him, and it's bugging me a bit. The rabbit, I mean, not the gorilla, because the gorilla doesn't have any feet on the picture, but whatever. I probably would get away with fucking just doing a black outline on them right now. And then maybe we can put some details in later. Inside I feel... Inside I feel... Yeah. I think we could just stick a black outline on it all now. It's so black. I love it. Not the metal. I'm not on about the metal. I'm on about the paint. Okay. Something so cathartic about just laying down black lines over an image. Like you're locking it in place. Black metal is pretty cool though. Children of Bodom for the win. I don't think I listen to much black metal. Some of it is good, yeah. Metal's one of those things where like there's too many fucking genres. Like it's a joke to me. Like I think it's just a fucking ridiculous inside joke how many genres of metal there are. It's ridiculous to me. Ah. Like the whole, there being more, like, all of these, like, different genres of metal. I see it as no different than when you walk into, like, a coffee shop or a Starbucks or something. And it's like, what kind of coffee do you want? This kind of coffee, you know, low milk, fat milk, half milk, fucking quarter milk, fucking alien milk, fucking breast milk, fucking... It's like, nut milk. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're all drinking nut milk, you fucking gays. Like... I think if you're gonna sell almond and like oat milk and shit like that, like it should have to be like displayed as, or like, you know, people who are like selling it should have to like say milk of the nut, sir, you know. Like, it's just so blatantly gay, like. And like, and all those people who are like, well, I'm allergic to milk, so like, nut milk is like the only thing I can drink in my coffee. It's like, just drink black coffee. Do you know, like, if you're allergic to something or if you can't drink something, like, do you know what I mean? If you have like an ailment or an allergy or something, it's like, just stay the fuck away from it then, you gobshite. Don't try and cheat nature by indulging in technological workarounds. Do you know what I mean? Like, but like, nuts are healthy and nut milk and all this shit. It's like, it's not real though. It's like the most of the milk isn't even real. It's all pasteurized and stuff. So imagine how bad that shit is. Like, you know, its name itself suggestive and gross. I know. Like, you should. That's one of those things. How you, like, in a rhetorical sense, that's how you defeat that whole market. You just call it nut milk or milk of the nut. Like, instead of being called oat milk or almond milk, you just call it nut milk. You know? People will stop drinking that shit real quick. Of course, there's going to be people who don't give a fuck because they're gay. Keep drinking it anyway. Dead from a lover's hand. Yeah, like, that already looks more like, you know, it stands out from the background more and shit. Ah, Griffo-san! Welcome to PEINTEINGU. I love this one. This one has love the way it just starts. A lot of their songs are like that, where it's just straight in to like a really good guitar riff. I keep getting an urge to like air guitar. Set our bodies ablaze, turn the darkness to light. We are feeding the fire freedom now. Set our bodies ablaze. From the darkness to light. Yeah, it's starting to stand out much more. Ah, stuttering. Going hardcore this AM. Indeed! I got fuck all sleep. I'm running solely on coffee and sausage rolls. Today is a day of metal. Christian metal. And no, I'm not a Christian. I just like their metal. You can say what you want about Christians. They've decent metal. I respect their metal. Never gave this fucker a nose. Just realised. Oh, he's got a nose. Pay for PEINTEINGU. Bob Ross has got nothing on this shit. You know why? Because he's dead and he can't say anything. I got an email from my internet provider that my bill is going from $175 to from $75 to $173. Holy shit! Is there a reason for this monumental increase? Like, that's like basically 100. Like, that's all. Not basically. That's over 100% increase. Like, from 75 to 170. What the fuck? What could possibly be the reason for like that kind of price increase? Like, that's crazy. I'd immediately cancel my internet and find a different provider. Like, fuck that shit. I can see that happening. I can see stuff like fucking in the next couple of years or even in the next few months, like all of a sudden getting so expensive that everybody just like, not everybody, but like, you know, if you don't have the money for that shit, just stop using it. And I know that's an easy thing to say, but like, you know, like, and then it's like, yeah, but what am I going to do without the internet? I need the internet for this and the internet for that, like, especially if you work from home or something. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, like, the realm is like changing. It's rapidly changing. Do you know what I mean? And like today, or not today, this year is going to be a big year for like a lot of reasons. You know, you got a presidential election in America and all that stuff, and like there's a referendum going on right now in Ireland with all the fucking hate speech stuff and like women's rights and shite and the fucking constitution and shit. Like, if you're really into the beast system, there's dark times ahead. But like, you know, if you're more spiritually minded and more like, you're in the know and you get it and you know what's going on and you know what's right and the right thing to do and all, like, fucking, it's like when, you know, fucking Owen is like, you know, a lot of the people that like appreciate what Owen has done and the advice he's given out and all, they don't be on the stream or they don't fucking super chat or they don't write letters often. Why? Because they're off doing what he said to do, you know? Like, that's one of the reasons why I'm not like really active in like bear chats and stuff, apart from like the Legends chat on Telegram. And like, even then I'm not in it all the time, and I'm not like, I don't be like on my phone talking to people all the time. Like, I do this like as pretty much like this is all I do till I don't have enough energy to fucking stay awake. and then I just do it again the next day, like, even if I don't have the energy. Like, that's the mentality you need to have, like, in with all this shit coming. It's just like, don't react, don't have fear, you know, and don't suffer for something you don't actually need, you know. Like, that's an insane increase. There's no end to Canada's rollerblading tendencies. Like, that's crazy. Had a new fiber discount last 5 years. Will probably switch if they don't cut it down substantially. Like, that's crazy. I've never seen anyone like provide a service for anything and like send you a letter or an email saying they're about to increase their price by that much of a degree. Like, that's insane. It's fucking crazy. That's I'm terrible at business. Like, you know, I'm not a businessman, like, by any stretch of the imagination. And like, I know that's like a horrible way to do business. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, I think when I'm done this, I might draw out a symmetrical, or I don't know, I might paint some of the tactical turtles on the stream, because I haven't refilled the hat for PEINTEINGU. So, rich of comfort makes a man more honest. And like, I've a really comfortable life the last few years, but I haven't. Like, I've become complacent in ways because of my success in certain avenues. Like, you know, I'll sell a painting, I'll be like, oh, thank fuck, and then I'll kind of like pull off the gas a bit. Like, I've said that before on stream, where like, oh, I shouldn't have, like, you know, pulled off the gas because like I need to keep working and all this shit. Like, but I don't just lay about. Like, do you know what I mean? That's the thing. I used to be guilty of that. Like, do you know what I mean? I used to just like lay about and be like, what's the point? Why would I bother? The world has betrayed me. My family has betrayed me. Why would I bother doing anything? Like, I used to have that victim mentality of like, I've been fucked with so much. Why would I bother doing anything? Like, I don't see the point in engaging in any of these systems or any of these groups, because you're all a bunch of fucking primitive scum. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's not like I thought I was better. Like, I still don't. I've never thought I was better than someone else, or like certain kinds of people. But the reality is that depending on your behavior, you're objectively better, like, than a lot of people, especially in this timeline. Like, the reality is that there are a bunch of people who like are just utter scum, and like don't care that they are. Do you know what I mean? Like, like, obviously you'd have way more fucking compassion and respect for someone who's like, they, like, you know, they're sorry, or like apologetic, or like they have shame, you know, if they have shame about their like previous behaviors and stuff. Like, I went through that big style in the last few years when I was like suicidal and decided to just like, you know, fuck this, I'm gonna change everything, like, you know, like, I'm gonna change me and blah blah. Like, it's like the lack of will, but also like, you know, I get what it's like to be in that realm, but at the same time, I don't get how people don't realize, you know, that they're part of the problem and end up like trying to fix things. you know? Like, the only thing that explains that to me is, like, demonic energy, you know? Because you see some people and they're just, like... It's a combination of that, like, they feel like an NPC, but at the same time, they feel like it's not just an NPC, because NPC implies kind of like, you know, not like just, you know, like a drone, you know. But a lot of the energy I've come in contact with, it's like, it's not that they're a drone, like they have a will, but their will is like twisted, you know. And there's moments where you get like a sense that you're like, you're not human, you're like an animal, you know. Which again, like I say this a lot, like coming from someone like me, that's crazy, because like I'm the type of guy that like used to put my hand through a wall because I was pissed off, you know, like that's animalistic, you know. So like if I'm looking around at the people around me being like, y'all a bunch of fucking psychopaths and like losers and hypocrites and liars and all, like, then that's kind of an indication of the standard of society, like, you know, because like I've stolen shit. You know, granted I was a child, you know, and like it was like a Kinder egg, you know, like, but like I've stolen shit from people in my life before, and it was out of spite, you know. I wanted to hurt them. I didn't like. I've never been like a petty thief in the sense of like, oh, I'm just gonna take this because I can. I've taken things like in a vengeful sense. You know, like, this is mine now. Like, I have a real dark side to me. You know, like a violent, vengeful. Like when I was reading up all the stuff on, like, you know, characteristics of, like, you know, the types of, like, you know, celestial, cosmological fucking personalities and stuff, like, and the stuff that that I read about, like, being what it is being a Scorpio. Like, I fucking like I resonate. It spoke to me in so many ways where I was like, Jesus Christ, like I am like that. I am like Judas. I am like the assassin. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, not all the time, but I have that aspect of my personality where, like, if I become bitter, like, basically what I'm trying to say is, like, if I chose to stay in that negative mindset, like I said a couple of streams ago, like, I'd make an excellent bad guy. You know, like I'd make a really good drug dealer. Like, I would just shoot people and not care about it. I'd be like, well, like, you're here, you're in the game, you know, like, fucking play the game, bitch. Like, pay up or I kneecap you. You know, like, but like, I can feel it in my heart and my soul. It's like, no, that's wrong. Like, you know, like, whatever you say about the conspiratorial aspect of the Jedi and the Sith, I want to be a Jedi in the sense of, like, I want to be like a protector, like a creator, a defender, like a propagator, you know, like a bringer of, like, wisdom and joy and, like, all these things. Like, I don't want to be a destroyer and a manipulator and a fucking liar and a hypocrite. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, most of life is very shades of grey. But it does get to a point where there's fundamental structures of reality, and that's where you find, like, you know, no, that's fucking evil and wrong, and that's, like, good and true and beautiful. And I'd say that's where the whole, like, concept of, like, reaching the bottom of the barrel is. It's not just that, like, people who end up in a desperate situation or people who end up in, like, a dark place in their mind or their heart or whatever, like, it's not just that. It's also, like, your circumstances in life show, if you're paying attention, they show you what life is. You know, everyone's individual circumstance. Like, if they were actually paying attention on, like, a macro level, on an objective level, and had a sense of, like, spirituality about them, then they would realize that, like, it is all connected and there is a reason for everything, and you do have free will. Like, that's what it means. It's like to choose to do the right thing. It wouldn't be the right thing. There would be no right or wrong if you couldn't choose to do right or wrong. Do you know what I mean? You would just be programmed to do X. So the fact that we have a choice to individually assess our circumstances and be like, okay, is this right? You know? Or like that, I think that's what allows you to sort out the demons from and the NPCs from like people like us, where like we at least attempt to be real. We at least like try to adhere to things like, you know, the good, the true, the beautiful. All of the spit. And I am buried alive. Hold on, where's my freedom? I don't know what it is about these guys. I just really like them. I really like their vibe and their songs. I love this album. It's like what I was saying the other day about like the pace. I like how this whole album just kind of like starts and it's just like constant fucking like go. Like the fucking album cover is like death on a horse, you know, like the Pale Rider, but it's like a carved statuette of like stone. It's awesome looking. This was always one of my favourite songs off the album, From This Life. I love the breakdowns in it and like just the way it's structured. Forever I'm abandoned, and I am buried alive. Hold on, here's my freedom from this life of demons. Forever I'm abandoned, and I am buried alive. Hold on, here's my freedom. Oh, here we go. I don't care who you are or where you come from, that's just fucking good music. Get the blood flowing! He's starting to look really good, actually. He kind of looks like Wile E. Coyote and fucking some meth-addicted badger had a kid or something. Oh, God. Man, I used to love Roadrunner. Beep, beep. And the way, like, Coyote always just held up the signs and stuff and didn't talk. Brilliant. I'm glad you're enjoying the tunes, because I needed this. Like, if I don't listen to, like, some, like, arguably dark stuff every so often, I feel like I haven't had any sunlight. I'm telling you, like I am like half demon. I'm like fucking Dante at a Devil May Cry or something. Like, oh. I always thought that was an interesting concept. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if angels can betray God, can demons betray Lucifer and Satan? Like, does it work both ways? Does as above, so below, like, really, like, encompass everything? Because, like, I'm telling you right now, like, I think I'd rather be a demon that turned good than an angel that turned bad. You look fucking badass and you're on the right side. I'll take that deal. Ugh. Remember I was talking about like Darth Vader there, like last week or the week before? It's like that. It's like everybody thinks Darth Vader's so cool, even though he's the bad guy. But at that last moment where he turns and he like, you know, fucking does something good, it's like it makes him even better. Do you know what I mean? It makes him even better as a villain because he's like, oh, he's actually kind of good. Like, you know, he still has the potential to be a good guy. Like, and he's that bad. You know, like I love that shit. Like, I think that shit's just good writing. You know, just good true writing. Brown, 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 brown. Down, down, down. Down, down. Yes! I love classical music, but like, just, yes, metal! How many times? How many times? How many times? How many times? Man's got decent vocals. Looking good. Looking good. I don't think you can get more buck-toothed than that. Like, fucking teeth are falling out the dude's head. Like, You ever listen to Dream Theater? Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't know any of their songs off by heart, but, like, yeah, I know the name, I know the band. Darth Vader was complicit in murdering an entire planet's worth of people in the billions. Hard to walk that back. maybe, maybe they deserved it. I but like, yeah, like I get where you're coming from. Like, like, but think about it. I mean, like, not even is he not only is he like complicit in like he's like commanding all those armies and they're killing all those people. Twice he like single-handedly butchers a load of people because of something that happened to him. You know, so like when he finds his mother in Tatooine, and she's been like kept captive by the Sand People for like God knows how long, and she just like dies in his arms, and he just like snaps and like butchers the whole village. Like, but part of you is sitting there going, "Yeah, I get it." Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then another time is when in Revenge of the Sith, where he fucking turns and kills all the children. He kills all the Padwans in the tower, and like that is when, like, when I watched that, I was like, oh shit, like he's like gone. Like, do you know what I mean? Like there's bits where you understand his pain. That's what I love about Vader. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like there's bits where you're like, I get that. I feel how much that hurts. But then because it keeps happening, because he keeps going, and he doesn't like, he falls in love with Padme, and like he doesn't agree with the council and all this stuff. It's like it's very well written how he like slowly just gets to that point and then chooses to turn, and then when he turns, it's like really bad. Like, Master Skywalker. He's just like, oh shit, he just killed all the kids. Like that's some dark shit. Like, like how just gone you would have to be to like murder a load of children. Like, that's fucking dark as fuck. But he's still awesome. But he's not awesome in a good way. He's still one of those things. He's the most, if not one of the, like, easily the top 5 most what would be the term, like, most famous, most known through the whole realm and all cultures, because Star Wars is so big and all. Darth Vader is just like one of those like archetypal examples of like good turning into evil, and it's just like it's a really cool. It's like one of the best warnings. Do you know what I mean? It's like such a good warning, because like he was supposed to be, the best Jedi, and he was supposed to be so good that he was going to turn the tide, and then that happens. It's just awesome. I might have to make the rabbit's hand like bigger and like go in further like that. Yeah, that works. Yeah. So it actually looks like the gorilla's like gripping the rabbit's hand. Oh god. Am I out of coffee? Fuck, I'm out of coffee. Oh. Just knowing I'm out of coffee has instantly made me more tired. Oh god. I think this is actually going to look fucking proper funny and comical when it's all done. Turned out quite well. Any suggestions of like another one of these that we should do? Like art, like a PEINTEINGU take on a meme or whatever. Because like obviously I'm going to refill the hat and we're going to keep doing PEINTEINGU as per usual in the next few days. And then like I said, one of the days I'll do one of the symmetricals. So I'll just be painting something fucking abstractly badass looking. But I really enjoyed doing this, and this is fucking hilarious. So I think we should do more of these. And I know Stabru definitely agrees with me. Oh, here we go. Remember the song I put on a few days ago? This is it's off this album. Is that this fucking album's gone already? The song's 8 minutes long. Dick Fordu, welcome to Metalingu. Oh god. Woo! And all that milk and coffee mixes with the water. Damn. The carrot shaped into a Bowie knife. That's awesome. Well, the carrot's more like a shiv. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, the banana was what did Demon Hunter Bear say yes to it? Like I was like, it's a banana Bowie knife. It's a banana wee. I can't even say it. Banana Bowie, banana-wee. It's a banana-wee. Banana-owie. Banana-owie. Banana-owie? I don't know. The younglings in the Jedi Temple. Sorry, Vader. Into the pit you go. Yeah, like after he does that, there's like no coming back. But that's kind of why that's why that happens at that time. You know? Like, even the fact that, like, you remember the fucking clones trying to kill Yoda? Could you imagine being those clones and you're standing 10 feet away from Yoda and you're like, yeah, fucking Order 66, like, kill Yoda. You'd be fucking like, he's standing behind a guy that, like, is, like, aware of, like, shit that, like, people can't fucking fathom of. Like, like he can feel, like, the room. He could feel your heartbeat and shit, like, do you know what I mean? And you're gonna tell me that you're gonna try and stand behind him and just shoot him, like... I love that scene. I love the way he's just standing there with his eyes closed and he just opens his eyes and it's like, oh, and he just fucking butchers them, like... Could you imagine? Like, poor Ashoka. Ashoka gets fucking butchered. Ashoka's, like, in the middle of a jungle and all, like, or... Is it Ashoka or Adi Gallia? I think it's Ashoka. I could be wrong. Maybe it's another one of those alien bitches with a different name, but like it's the bitch with the two swords. Like I can't remember. Like, but there's another fucking I'm talking about earlier on at the start of the stream where it's like lightsabers are like inherently dangerous to the user because there's like it's fucking a stupid design. Adi Gallia holds the fucking and so does Starkiller out of the games. Fucking Force Unleashed holds the lightsaber in the reverse guard position facing downwards, like, do you know what I mean? Like, instead of holding it like this, holds it like this. And like, if you've ever tried to do that and wield a knife like this because it looks cool, it's like you're actually more likely to fuck yourself up, holding a blade like that. Like, granted, there are certain techniques that are easier from that angle, especially when you're like really in close, and like you can easily make the argument that like you can get more like repeated like shiv kind of stabbing from like this angle instead of like having something like this and then trying to do this. Like, do you know what I mean? But it's not like that much more effective. Do you know? Any kind of like swords, like any kind of like weapons expert will straight up tell you that like reverse guard is like only useful in certain circumstances and shouldn't be considered like a style of fighting at all. It does not work, you know, for like most shit. Like if you try to block a blade here, you're more than likely still going to take severe damage, if not lose your arm, depending on what the enemy is using. Like, you know, it's not like in the movies, you know, and fucking shit where you can just like ding, you know, like it doesn't work like that. Like if somebody's swinging a fucking bit of metal at you and you just stop it, do you know what I mean? It's like sometimes you'll get away with it. It depends on the context. Like, do you know what I mean? Like people that like I didn't when I was younger. I didn't realize how much like, you know, like when blades make contact with each other, like after a battle, most swords would just be like discarded. Do you know what I mean? Like the amount of weapons that break on like the first time you hit a guy, it just completely folds because like you're not just hitting a human being, like you're hitting potentially at an awkward angle because you're in the middle of a chaotic battle. But you're hitting stuff that's designed to stop weapons, you know? Armor, shields and stuff. So even if like you don't go like bing and get a bad hit and it like fucks up your weapon, or your weapon gets stuck in your opponent's shield or armor, there's also like you can get a bad hit and like just lose the grip on the weapon, you know? That's why they had like a lot of maces had like, you know, that like fucking rope attachment on the wrist and shit, you know, because it would just go like bong and like fucking you could take a wild swing hit. Like that's one of the reasons I was thinking about that shit this morning about like lightsabers and how stupid they are. It's like don't get me wrong, they're cool and shit, but like the concept is just like clearly designed by someone who's never like been in a fight, let alone knows anything about like warfare or sword combat or anything. Like I fucking love that riff. Just like triplets, just diddle 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 diddle. No. If that doesn't get you pumped for the day, I don't know what will. Ooh. Okay, so we started the day with some awesome metal. And now we shall engage in the second half of the stream. And I think I kind of want to stick with metal. I cannot lie. I'm going to stick this on for the moment, and we'll see how
recordings
audience
just got better.
And then, well, Dana.
Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard.
Hello, Dana. How are you?
Local recordings are
now get the fuck off my stream, bitch.
Have you?
Right. This is much different. Much different than. Apparently, gent isn't a genre, but like these guys will make you think it is. You might not like the vocals on this. To be honest, like originally I wasn't, you know, wasn't really big into them, but oh, this is such a good album. Just forget about the vocals. Just listen to the music. Just listen to the instruments and like how well they're being played. Dana kills the bus. Hi, it's Dana from Street. Fuck you, Dana. Oh god. This is the end. Technique of like taking a brush across a canvas or a page and rolling it in your fingers to get those like nice even curves and stuff like that. Like that's one of those things where like for me as an artist, like, you know, with various techniques and styles, you can forget how like super effective basic techniques are. And sometimes I just forget to like just twist the brush. It also depends on the brush. Obviously, you don't want to do that with like a flat edge. If you start twisting, it's going to get much wider and then thinner again. Like, loves me some drop D thrashing. Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed about the bear community, actually, is like there's a lot of us that are quite metal. like, you know, beards, grunge, fucking like beanies, like, you know, fucking. It's hilarious. Like that's like ultimately you can say that it's one of the reasons why I've like really enjoyed and been in the bear community for years now and like stayed involved and like and done all this shit is because like I've come across so many people in the community that I genuinely like really relate to and get along with, like, you know, on multiple levels, whether it be like like, because I don't really have an ideology, you know, so it's kind of stupid to say ideologically for me, personally, but like, just in basic life stuff that like we really relate on, you know, been through a lot of stuff, try to be a good guy, but a lot of the time we got fucked over because we live in a society that's like fundamentally sick, you know. But that doesn't mean that like we're perfect or that we made like all the best decisions. You know what I mean? Like, so we're also like humble to a degree, you know. But you can't be too humble, you know. You need to have confidence, but you don't want to be arrogant, you know. So it's like, I think that's what I've managed to like. I've turned out, considering the shit that I've been through, and the shit that I've witnessed, and then the shit that we've all collectively been through, especially in the last like 5 odd years. A lot of us turned out like really well balanced, simply because we have a good sense of humor. You know, like that's all it is at the end of the day, is the ability to just like kind of like laugh something off and like just keep going instead of getting like, you know, emotionally or dialectically bogged down in any single thing, you know. Which is ultimately what I think all this shit is designed to do. It's designed to compartmentalize people into different groups, just over and over and over and over and over again, so nobody can fucking unify, nobody can like band together, nobody can compete, you know, effectively compete, like, which is why Owen is hated so much. Because he's like showing people how to compete on a really like basic fundamental level. It's like, this is how you compete. You essentially compete by like not playing their game. Now sometimes you have to play their game, so in that sense you have to learn how to play them at their own game. But a lot of the time you can straight up avoid playing their game. There's also something just incredibly satisfying of like accomplishing certain brushstrokes like that, where like you just go whoop, and you get like a really nice uniform line or some shit. There's something so satisfying about it. Almost like when you fire a bow and you hit the center of the target, you get the 10, like the bullseye in the middle, like, you know. It's the same with art. It's the same with like brushstrokes and stuff. Where like, one of my favorite things to do is to just pick a color on a symmetrical design or some shit, and I like pick the sections that like, look, I could do that in just one stroke, you know. If I get the right size brush and like and load it correctly, I can just place it here and like go one, and like that whole section is just painted now, you know. And it's like so fucking satisfying. There's a reason like those videos are all over the internet where artists just going like whoop with like a brush and just doing one stroke. There's something so fucking like your eyes and your nervous system just look at it and go, yes. Like, oh yeah, I forgot to fucking... There's me doing the fucking black outline on this part and I haven't even done the strap. I must strap this banana! It's just placed on him, like, there's nothing holding it there, like. Oh god. Like the cheat in a helicopter. That's the next painting goop? Pajit and the Ganges swimming in breath. Oh, dude. I can't even, like, read the rest of that sentence without it feeling gross. Speech bubble. Love me or hate me, I don't care. My rules, my style. The first time I, like, heard about that stuff where they, like, all, like, bathe in the Ganges and what the Ganges is like the state of it and all, like, and what's in it and stuff, I was just like, God damn, that's just nasty. Like, there's like an African village that I've seen as well where, like, there's fucking rubbish and, like, fucking, you know, piss and shit all in the fucking water and stuff and all. Like there is an argument, from what I've heard, there's an argument that, like, if you are surrounded by that stuff, like, from a young age, that, like, your body builds this, like, immunity, you know, to, like, disease and stuff like that, like, you know, but, like, regular contact with your own waste material, I don't know if that's such a good thing. But then again, I mean, people fucking talk about the benefits of drinking your own piss all the time. Now, eating and rubbing your own shit all over yourself, I don't know about that one, like, you know what I mean? But, like, I don't know. Like, I will admit that, like, there are things that, like, when I was, like, you know, making an argument for, well, not that I was making an argument for, but I was making a logical point about the whole thing of, like, you know, the conquistadors showing up and then, like, the Incas and the Mayans are fucking, like, or the Aztecs, whatever they're fucking called, all three of them, are, like, sacrificing people and pulling their hearts out and all, like, that's, like, the perspective we were given was, look at these savages and look how awful that is. But if you were to put it in the aspect of, like, all right, well, do we know why they did it from their perspective? Like, do you know what I mean? Were those people just, like, plucked from other villages against their will and butchered? Or, is that historically accurate? Or, like, were they criminals? You know? Were they criminals and fucking, you know, prisoners of war or some shit? Like, you know, prisoners of war, it's a bit dodgy. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't know. You could just keep them as slaves. Like, why fucking sacrifice them? But then you also have to think, like, in terms of consent and ideology, can you judge a culture for having a belief system? I don't, like, that seems incredibly complicated to me in terms of, like, logical reasoning. It's like, you know, can you justifiably, like, morally judge a culture for having certain beliefs? Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously the whole Christendom stuff, like, spread around the world and we were like, but that's the thing, is, like, you know, fucking the Christians argue for, like, you know, these savages did this, this, and this, and it's like, but that's what the point I was making is, like, you could easily describe Christians as savages. They, like, you know, just like the fucking British, went all across the realm apparently and, like, butchered anyone who didn't bend the knee and believe in Christ. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole Deus Vult shit, you know, it's like they're just, like, donned in armor and chanting and, like, butchering people that they call fucking heretics. Like, if you don't know what Warhammer 40k is, or, like, Warhammer in general, like, it's the Space Marines. It's that's what the Space Marines are, like, based on. It's like the Space Marines even have a sect called the Black Templars. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's dogma. It's like insane levels of dogma, you know? To be like, well, our God says these 10 things, and if you disagree, then we have the right to, like, burn you at the stake or, like, butcher your entire fucking and convert you. And if you don't convert, we will whip you. You know, it's like, it's exactly a great argument for an ideology. Like, you know what I mean? That's not how I would go about, like, enlightening a populace. Do you know what I mean? Like, these savages, they don't know the glory and love of Christ. Gee, I wonder why. Like, maneuver Babylon until you don't need it. Yeah, maneuver Babylon until you don't need it anymore. That's the way I see it. Like, yeah, like you have to, like, you're in the system but not of it. You know, so you have to learn how to like live within this thing. Until such point as you can like get away from it or get out of it. But even then, you can't really get out of it because it's not really like it's not a physical. It's like it is and isn't a physical circumstance. It's like it's a mental and spiritual circumstance. That's one of the things that I think is fascinating. Is just like a lot of like pretty much all of it these days is like so focused on the mind. Don't be a victim. Silence the inner gamma. Yeah. I had lots of, and I didn't know, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that I was being a victim, or if or that I had a victim mentality. I thought at the time I just had a justifiable reason to be angry all the time. Like that's what I felt. I felt like every day I had a perfectly good justification to just be an asshole, to just be like really angry and bitter and like. And I was still like, most of the time, I was still like fun to be around and like funny, but I was dark and I was cynical, It was very dark and cynical and bitter and like negative and pessimistic. I was very pessimistic. I was always like assuming that shit was just going to go sour because that was my experience, So like, that is so true. Like, don't be a victim. But it's also like you might want to look at yourself and find, like, because, like I said, like I didn't think I was being a victim. I didn't feel victimized. Do you know what I mean? I didn't like. That's not how it felt to me. I didn't think I was like. I wasn't sitting there being like, well, poor me. I didn't have a woe is me mentality. I was just seriously pissed. Like wrath. Like my main sin for the past 15 years was wrath. That's what all I was about, was just wrath, I had that gamma Joker energy where I wanted to burn the world to the ground for what it had done to me, but not in like a victim sense. It was more of a like that's why I'm so big into honor. That's why I made such a big deal out of like. It's why I find it hilarious to talk about honor and stuff like that on PEINTEINGU and shit. Like, it's like I felt wronged, so I felt like I had the right to like, rectify that, the fact that I'd been wronged, and like, how would I go about rectifying that? Well, like the people who wronged you, you treat them like shit. That's how I tell it. It's like the people who wronged me, it would like. I would treat them like absolute dirt. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'd just be like, you fucked with me. So like, now instead of like, fuck with me and I like, don't fuck with me and I won't fuck with you. Well, you fucked with me. Now I'm no longer fucking with you on any level. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, like I would, like that's what my relationship with my mother was for years. Was I would just like, I would just treat her like shit. I treated her how I thought she should be treated based on her behaviour. And not just towards me, her behaviour in general, I would watch her and listen to her and be like, you deserve fucking nothing. Do you know what I mean? You don't deserve compassion, you don't deserve any of these things. Like, and in a lot of ways I was right, but in a lot of ways I was wrong, And like that's really what it is. It's like, can you admit when you're wrong? Can you look yourself in the eye, in the mirror, and be like, fuck, man, I fucked that one up, like, And like when I started doing that, like that's when a lot of shit changed. Was when I realized, it was like, man, I fucked up a lot. Oh yeah, the fuck. That's. I was wondering why I got the black off the brush. The strap. Okay, what are we doing? I will make brown. that little swatch of paint I did on the palette there kind of looks like Ireland. But not anymore. There we go. That's a nice shade of brown already. Beautiful. Beautiful brown. Oh, it's gone. Too much green. Fuck. And the primary colors are so powerful, especially when you're working with high viscosity paints, like or high opacity paints. How dare you interrupt the metalingu?
Valentino.
Vile traitorous. Oh, foreign dog has left the scene before I could finish my insults. Oh god. Almost there. I have the right, I'm in the right area of the color wheel. Oh, I love that riff. There we go. We're in the burnt sienna region right now. There we go. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Gotta run, my son, to skill. We'll check back in 30 chance. Much love. Much love, nigga. Now it looks legit. There we go. Let that dry. Put more detail on it. Give it a bit of shading. Gonna need to define his arm there. I fucking love that riff. Ever listen to the Doom Eternal soundtrack? That's some. Oh man, the fucking Doom Eternal soundtrack. It's like that. Like broke the internet for a while. Like everybody was listening to the fucking and making remixes of the fucking Doom Eternal soundtrack. Do you know what? You're a fucker. I'm gonna stick that on for the. I have that in my playlist. Like the whole 2 hours of it. Like that's hilarious. I'm so now. For the last half hour, we shall sing of doom. Which I know sounds kind of like doomish, but like, I have one of Muse's albums there as well. Fuck it, the Drones album. I really like that album. They have some deadly songs on it. Like what's that one? Like it's about soldiers. Um, has a really nice hook in it. It's like I'm gonna make you a fucking psycho. Like it's fucking. If you've never listened to that album by Muse, or if you've never listened to Muse, you should give them a listen. Um, their album Drones is like seriously fucking cool. Now I can't remember where I put the Doom Eternal soundtrack. I think it's near here. Yeah, there's some other game music there. Where's the Doom Eternal one? It might not actually be there anymore. It might not be in my fucking. Because it did take some shit out. Hmm. Yeah, it mustn't be there anymore. Okay. Well, it'll be fucking easy enough to look up. Uh, it's such a fucking. Uh, it's such an amazing soundtrack. Like, yeah, man. What was that guy's name? What's the fucking Mick Gordon? Yeah, fucking the remastered version, full official soundtrack by Mick Gordon is 3 hours 40 minutes long. Jesus, does it include all the dialogue as well? I'd say so. In the first age. Man, Doom Eternal was such a fucking game. Like, just oh, what a game! Doom Eternal is an amazing game. Much better. It's actually insane how much just putting black outlines on stuff just immediately makes it pop so much more. Like, it's crazy. I love it. Class, like Mick Gordon had a big falling out with that studio afterwards and
Against
all. Like,
all the evil that
yeah, it's got all the fucking dialogue in it. That's deadly.
all the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them. Only you. Rip and tear.
Rip
Until
and
it is
tear.
done.
I remember when Doom Eternal came out, like everybody was watching the trailer being like, this hits so hard. It's awesome. Excellent. Paint eternal. We paint with the blood of demons. That's why I love green so much. Oh, God. Okay. I want to go back off the grass in those sections there. Man, playing that game on fucking Ultra Nightmare mode or whatever it's called, like the hardest difficulty, that's one of the most satisfying and challenging things I've done in a video game in years, is playing Doom Eternal on the hardest mode and like finishing it. It was like fucking so good, like. Welcome back, Stubborn. Gorilla's eyes need a bit of work. But we're nearly done. We're nearly done with this. Other than the eyes, I think he's okay. Because I don't want to put too much black outline on him because it'll take away from the shading on the floor and stuff. Like, I think his lips are good. His lips are pretty, like, gorilla-esque. I don't really like how the black outline turned out on the fucking rabbit's tail, though. Part of me is just thinking to go over that. I think it looked better when it was all fluffy. I love opaque white paint. Black be gone! Yeah, like I'd shade that with grey or something, and maybe give it like an outline on just like the outer. Like I'll just outline the perimeter of it instead of trying to do some line work on the actual in the folds of the tail. It'll look fluffier if I just leave it the way I had it. Again, one of the many benefits of using high opacity paints is you basically turn a page or more canvas than a page, because a page can only take so much. But you essentially turn it into like fucking, it's like digital painting, like doing it, because you can just wait a few minutes and just fucking paint over it. Like, it's a blazing 51 degrees today. Glad to have some downtime to enjoy the sunshine. It looks pretty good from my house. Yeah, like there was a few days there where we got like, fucking 10, 14 degrees. Like it was a drastic increase and stuff. And today's not too bad, but then we got like 2 or 3 days where like it plummeted again. And like because of the fucking like the heating situation and stuff in our house, like it's just fucking you'll forget how cold it is in the room, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, why am I so cold? Because if you're getting up and you're moving around doing stuff and all that, and then like me, if I sit down to like do some work for like an hour or 2 hours, man, I get cold so quick sometimes, depending on the temperature of the house. Like, I get so cold to the point where, like, my hands start to cramp up, like, do you know what I mean? Like, feel like my blood isn't flowing and shit. Like, it's horrible, like. Being in a cold environment is very, very, very manageable and bearable if you're, like, doing something physical all the time, Like I've been in like freezing temperatures and like lashings of rain, but because I was doing manual labor, I was fine. If anything, I was like sweating buckets. And when you got home, you're like, you're just like filthy from like all the fucking weather and the work and the sweat and all that shit. Like, but if you're doing stuff like I've been doing the last few years, where like long periods of the day you're just like sitting down or standing in place, just focusing on something, like it's an odd experience where you like I'll do a workout, have a shower, heat up the room, but then turn the heating off because I don't want to leave the heating on, while I'm working. I'll heat up the room previously and then like preemptively heat up the room, turn the heating off when I come in and get to work. And by the time an hour and 45 minutes has passed, my like posture has changed, my blood flow has crawled to a glacier like halt. And the room, and now I can see my breath, and it's like, what the fuck happened? Like, it's only been 2 hours. Much better. Right, I think this one's pretty much done. What do you think? I'm gonna leave the rabbit's tail the way it is. I think it just looks nice and fluffy. And now it has definition in it because you can see the black lines under the eye, you know. At least on the stream it looks quality. Like up close you can see the differences and stuff like, but I don't care. Is this the music that meth addicts hear in their heads all the time? There's meth behind that dumpster. Ooh. Like, feel like I'm, otherwise known as the Doom Eternal soundtrack. Feel like I'm in a video game being hunted. No, you're supposed to be the one doing the hunting, oddly enough. And now you know how the demons in the game feel when the Slayer is on the move. Yeah, like the lore behind Doom is so funny now. Like the way they, what they did with the lore of Doom is fucking brilliant. Gotta up the antifreeze to water ratio when the motor functions slow to a crawl. I know, I just need more fucking coffee, like. Yeah, dude, this painting came out epic. Yeah, like, I'm happy with how it came out. It's hilarious. It's pretty good looking. And it's keeping the theme going of my, like, doing semi-realistic backgrounds and then slapping cartoon shit in them. So, right. I'm gonna leave it there. I'll do a 5-minute outro and let the fucking demon music keep playing. But I'm dying for a piss. My right ass cheek is dead, which is usually an indication that I have done enough painting for today. I'm at an odd angle. Like, my legs are facing this way, but then I'm turned towards the thing. So, like, sometimes when I get up from the stream, my hip, like, gives out a bit, and I have to, like, stretch it out and shit, like. But anyway, right. I hope you enjoyed today's painting go. If you would like to purchase this particular painting goo, you can. The original will be $200, just like every other painting goo. Stabberoo was the one that gave me the idea, so he will be getting a discount of a print whenever I get around to getting this scanned. Anyone else find it cathartic to watch The Northman? I haven't watched The North. Is it good? That's on Netflix, isn't it? The Northman. I'll give that a watch. Is it good? Accessing deep Viking roots. There's nothing like accessing your Viking roots. No. Epic painting goo battle. Yeah, I want to do more of these. Like, you know, fuck it. I love doing kaiju stuff. I love doing cityscapes. Like, you know, I mean, look at half the painting goos. Like, do you know what I mean? I'll pull random shit out of a hat. But it always ends up being like a chaotic conflict between forces. Like, I can't help but make shit biblical. Fuck it. Yeah, like Stabberoo, I'll give you a fucking. I'll try and get a print. I'll try and get a high quality print of this because I know you're a broke ass nigga who just works in a warehouse. But you came up with the idea for this, so I'll get us a print, a high quality print of this to you as quickly as I possibly can, and then you can throw me whatever for it. Like, do you know what I mean? You don't even need to pay me for it because you've already patronized me enough. I still think that's hilarious. God damn you for patronizing me! Wait a minute, patronize me? Hold on. I love the English language. Good old-fashioned Viking vengeance tale. I love it, yes. Sometimes the only solution to a situation is an axe to someone's head. Right. I hope you enjoyed Painting Goo. If you would like to support Painting Goo, despite it being very metal today, I'm still going to whip out the fan. Because the fan flex is just unavoidable. I mean, my fan skills have drastically improved. And I don't care how... There's nothing feminine about being good with fan. Like, do you know what I mean? This just tells you how good I'd be with a blade. Fear my fan flex. Shit. I very nearly just fucking knocked a lot of black paint all over the laptop. But anyway, right, you know the story. The link's in the description. If you would like to support the stream, there's a link there. If you'd like to buy any of my merchandise, which is basically the same as supporting the stream, you can buy some of my merchandise. Link is in the description. If you would like to buy any of these original, amazing abstract symmetrical paintings that I have created over the last few years, DM me, put it in the chat, so on and so forth. In the meantime, God bless, be good, be true, be beautiful, and I will see you at the same time, same place, same high-octane painting madness tomorrow, 3 p.m. GMT. Be there, or you will bring great shame upon you and your family. I'll see you then. Goodbye. Ready for PEINTEINGU? Ready for PEINTEINGU?